Hello. Sorry it took so long to get to the start of my story. This doesn't come easy to me. You can probably tell that. But they'll be coming out a lot faster now because I didn't realize I only have like 20 days of meds left. I thought I had another bottle of Asacol. And I really think that's the only thing that's keeping me alive right now. No thanks to the doctors. This is stuff I had from 10 years ago, so I think I've got enough stuff to make maybe a book or a screenplay, kind of a serial comic, nonfiction, I guess. I don't know what you'd put it under. I'm going to start in the middle because I don't know what's happening and I don't know how long I have. So I want to get to the medical part first because I have to tell the start of the medical so you understand what's going on right now. The chapter's not figured out yet. I'm figuring the title will be My Pal Joey. Mary and I were starting to do pretty good. We just bought our house. Not a big house, not a small house. Just a regular ranch, 3-bedroom, full basement, crawl space in the attic, in a good neighborhood. But it had a nice big yard. It was foreclosed on, so we got a good deal. We offered $100,000 and they took it. So now we have our first home. It was open to all the neighbors in the backyard because all the other dogs, I really wanted a fence, especially now that I had my own house. I just remembered poor old Bear, another dog of mine, getting distemper from being around all the other dogs in the old neighborhood. So we had a fence put up around the backyard because I like my privacy too. So it's a 6-foot fence. I know the old song, Our house is a very, very, very fine house with 2 cats in the yard. Life used to be so hard. Now everything is easy 'cause of you. Well, I wanted a dog. We had 2 cats, Pepper and Maisie, and they'll just have to learn how to share. So Mary and I went out looking for a dog. We started at the shelters. Must have gone to like 7 of them, and they all seemed to have just pit bulls or chihuahuas, 2 breeds that we just really didn't want. It's nothing personal to anybody that has a pit bull or a chihuahua. It just wasn't what we wanted for sure. So there was this one gray Saturday where I didn't have to work. We started out again to look for another shelter. It was drizzling a little. And I just remember that it was just one of those gray days. So we're talking, and all of a sudden Mary sees this strip mall. In the middle of it is a store that says puppies. Just said puppies. So she said, let's go take a look. And I said, if we go in there, we're going to get a puppy. There's no way you can go look at them and not get one. So she said, we've been to a lot of shelters, which we had, and they're all the same. So let's just go in and look. We don't have to get one. So I said, okay. So we went in and we're looking at all the cute little puppies, and we get over to this one window area, and there's 2 golden retriever puppies. And they look pretty big too. One was sleeping and the other one was running around. So we agreed that we just look at the one that's running around. So we went and got the girl. She looked about 17, small girl with purple and pink hair and glasses and a couple of rings in her nose. She looked like a nice girl. Had a good smile. We asked if we could look at that puppy, and she said yes. And we get it out, and it's cute, and it smells like a puppy. And I look over and it's $1,200. So I told Mary, I'm not spending $1,200 on a dog. And the girl says, oh no, these puppies are getting too big. They're on sale. If we don't get rid of them, they have to go back where they came from. Kind of a sorrowful look on her face. You know she means a puppy farm because that's where these dogs come from. So we'd be sending the puppy back to the puppy farm to be a breeder his whole life. So I said, how much do you want for it? And she said, oh, only 600. Mary said, let's get it. So I said, okay, we'll take it. Then Mary said, we should take them both. And it's just, they were both pretty big already. And I can't help it if it's going back. Somebody else will get that one. It's like we wanted to go camping and we had getting a trailer, and 2 golden retrievers would be just too much to fit in a trailer. So she reluctantly said, okay. So now in the back of my head, the rest of my life, I know I sent the other dog back to the puppy mill. Unbelievable. I'm sure somebody got it. So the girl says, well, you're going to need a crate and some bowls and a collar and a leash. And it's like, okay, I'm trying to add all this up in my head. It's getting pretty expensive. So I go get the crate, and it's like the large is 120 and the medium is 80 and the small one is like $60. So I figured the small one would barely fit him now. So I take the medium one over to the counter, and the girl kind of looks at me and she looks at it and she says, you're going to need a larger crate. That's a big dog. He's going to get big. And I said, no, we'll train him fast and this will be fine. So she says, okay, go over and grab some bowls and a collar and a leash and some chew toys. Golden retrievers like to chew. We found that out. So we go over and look for the collar and the leash and the bowls. It's all adding up in my head. We go back to the counter and she starts adding it all up. And Mary's smiling, holding the puppy, and I'm just wondering how much it's all going to cost. And I don't even remember what it was, but it wasn't a lot. So take it all out to the SUV and I start driving home. Mary says, what are we going to name him? So I'm thinking in my head, and I just seen this old movie with Frank Sinatra. It was called Pal Joey. So I'm thinking, my pal Joey sounds good. So I say to Mary, how about Joey? And she said, yes, that's what I was thinking too. But I didn't think you'd want that. And I said, why? She said, because I didn't think you'd like that Joey on Friends. But he is cute and funny. So I smiled and said, okay, that'll work. So I started unloading the stuff at home, and the girl had switched the crate from a medium to a large. She must have done it when I went to get the other stuff. And I looked at the receipt, and sure enough, it had the cost of the large one on there. But it was the best cage because he did grow up so fast. It was unbelievable. Every morning we woke up, he was twice the size he was the day before. So we get him home, and he's just the happiest puppy in the world. And he was the easiest dog I've ever trained. It's just unbelievable how fast he learned. And he did grow very fast. So I don't think he ever made a mistake on the floor. I don't think he ever peed or pooped. What I did was, after he ate or drank, I just followed him around for about 10 minutes, and you could see he was going to start to squat. So I'd pick him up real fast and cover his privates and say, no, 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 outside, outside, outside. And I read somewhere if you put a bell on the string on the back door, they will ring it when they want to go out. And sure enough, after like only a week, he was ringing that bell with his nose. So after about a month, we decided to leave his cage open for the night. We had already left him alone a few times outside the crate when we knew we'd be back in an hour or two, and he was always fine. Well, there was one time we came home, and it seemed like we were only gone an hour. But we came home, and you walk through our kitchen in the back to get to the living room. And we're walking towards the living room, and there's all this white on the floor. And it's like, what is that? And you just turn the corner, and it's just unbelievable. The whole floor was covered with like a white cloud. It was just everywhere, and sitting right in the middle of it was Joey, smiling and panting. What he did was he went onto the bed and pulled the pillow off, pulled the pillowcase off it, pulled all the stuffing out of the pillow, and did it with every pillow on the bed. There were 4 pillows, and they were all flat as could be. It was just so funny. You couldn't even do anything to them to get mad. It was just funny as hell. So after a couple of weeks of leaving his cage open, we were in bed, and I had to go to the bathroom like 3 in the morning. And my side of the bed was closest to the door, and that was always open. So I got up, and as soon as I started walking a step forward, I felt fur on my toes. And it was 3 in the morning, but you wake up pretty fast when you think you're going to step on a dog. So I started taking a step forward with my other foot. So I stepped over him, and I was reaching as far as I could, and then my foot caught the bed leg and twisted my ankle real bad. It totally swelled up immediately. I was still working overtime, so I didn't want to take time off to go see a doctor because I figured it would just go away after a few days. But it never did. It started to get a couple of weeks, then a month. I'm just limping all the time. And I didn't want to go see a doctor, but I thought I had to now. It's not getting any better. And it supposedly torn a tendon in my right foot a few years ago. And I think it was only off like 6 weeks. And that one was crazy. I had tripped over a piece of wood at work, a pallet, they call them. And I went to see the doctor, and he said, well, it looks like you tore your tendon, but you've also got problems with flat feet. So since I'm in there, what I'm going to do is break your foot so it heals and helps support your arch. And it's like, okay, whatever. Like, I'm thinking you're the doctor, you know best. So all you people have had operations, you know what it's like. You go and like you talk to the anesthesiologist, and boom, you're out like a light, and then you just wake right up. So when I wake up, I kind of slowly open my eyes, and then there's this old lady nurse staring at me like in total shock. Her eyes are just popping out, and I'm thinking, what happened while I was under? And then she says, are you okay? I said, I think so. Should I not be okay? And so all I can figure was that she was in the operating room and saw him break my foot. And then she said, I can go get you some pain pills if you want right away. And I said, no, I think I'm okay right now because I really didn't feel any pain. So that one only took it seems like 6 weeks to heal. And it might have been 2 months, but I was back to work real quick. So I thought, well, I've got some money in the bank, and Mary's working. And I can take a vacation days if I have to, but they give you like $185 a pay a week for sick leave, which was like 2/5 of what I normally made. So the other thing was I had been limping for so long at work. I was doing overtime, like 12 hours a day and 5 on Saturday. And it's just, you kind of turn into a zombie. So I've been limping for so long, and I was coming back to my machine that I worked on at the time, and I was limping over, and the general foreman rides by in his little cart. He says, "You know, you look like your old man the way you walk." It's like, I can't tell you what I thought I'd call him, but my dad had bad knees, so he never really got them fixed. So he always walked kind of bad. Well, that's a long story too. Well, we got them fixed, or tried to. But so I go and sit at my desk, and they let us have radios. So I had my radio on, and they broke into the story about a plane hitting a building in New York City, and then another one, and then all of that happened. It was September 11th, 2001. And then I'm just sitting there, and I'm in total shock. And I know everybody else has a radio, but nobody seems to be doing anything. They just keep working and talking, and I just couldn't believe it. Nobody understood that this is war. A war is going to start with somebody about this. Anybody would realize that. Maybe they were just too scared to think about it. But I thought, well, I've been limping around for a month, and I'm done. So I put in for to see a doctor, and then I saw my doctor. He was an old man. That's another funny story. And he sent me to a foot doctor, and that's where it all